or businesses, or 90% of the startups, fail within the first 5 years. That's a very significantly concerning number. And that actually says that if you are a survivor, that itself is success. So I would like to start by saying that success is something that is very subjective and should be very individual. It should be defined by what you would like to do. And having said that, I am Ashwin Mocherla. I am the co-founder of the ThickShake factory. It's a QSR brand that we have started back in 2013. I and my brother, we have co-founded this company, and we have been the first movers in this market into the quick service restaurants with the product called the ThickShake. And we understood that there was a gap in the market back then where premium milkshakes were not being sold in the country, and unfortunately in rest of the other countries it was easily available. So just by understanding that gap, because it was a restaurant industry and a very easy to start business, like how everybody thinks before starting a business, we also started a business that way. Like, we had very limited capital, we come from very humble backgrounds, we didn't know the building blocks of building a business. We do come from a business background, but the education is still the same. I was an engineer and then I did my MBA, like most of you here. So while I was on the second year of my exchange program, in my MBA, I had gone in an exchange program, and it was in Europe, and that gave me a lot of confidence that I probably didn't have in my life at that point of time. Because there's a lot of conditioning to the environment that people have while growing up. I'm sure everybody understands these terms more clearly and deeperly than probably a decade ago. So having said that, we started our path taking an inspiration from something that was trending in the global markets, and we tried to see if that would work here. So we tried making ice creams, and we tried blending ice creams into thick shakes. And we understood at the very start that there was not a great quality ice cream that was available that could actually be blended and served into a product that we wanted to give to the market. So we then thought the next step would be to make our own ice creams and then have a proprietary formula, and that's what we did. But 12 years later, if I have to look back on that moment and see what was it that we decided at that point of time, it was at having zero scale, without having a proof of concept, we were even vertically integrating, which is what most B schools teach you not to do until you achieve a scale. But we had to do that at that point of time because we believed that that is what would work. And thankfully, in the last 12 years, we have understood that the product is the hero of the brand. So today I'm here to talk about why some startups succeed and some of them don't. I would like to put forward my learnings that I've had in the last over a decade of building this brand. The number one thing is consistency. You will have to be consistent in your efforts. You'll have to be consistent constantly in delivering what you want to give to the market. And as your business changes, before you start a business, it's just in the ideation stage, and later when you go across various business cycles in the starting scale or the growing scale or the scaling scale or the blitz scaling scale or your stabilization scale, at any cycle, wherever you are, the needs of the business will constantly keep changing. One day you're the business owner, you're the founder, working behind the counter making shakes. The other day you're billing to the customers, you're accepting orders. The other day you're cleaning the floors. The other day you're finalizing a business plan with Swiggy or Zomato. It can be anything. Like, there are multiple stages of the business that will require people to address them at that point of time. And if I really have to differentiate, and you need to understand what's happening. Say, for example, I'll take you through my journey. When we first started back in 2013, we started with one store. We had 18 lakhs of capital that we started. 8 lakhs went into the deposit alone, and then rest of it went into construction and then equipment. And then we ended up starting it. But after starting, there's so much of work that needs to be done. You'll have to ensure the collection is happening. You'll have to ensure your raw material is there in the store. You'll have to ensure that you have adequate planning. You may have planned all these things on paper, but when it comes to execution, it's a completely different thing. And these things keep taking slow shape. It doesn't happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. So I will again circle back to what I said at the start, that consistent efforts is what will drive things forward. Similarly, being honest with yourself. I will also talk about I'm a big fan of Roger Federer, and recently I've seen his speech at graduation ceremony. I'm sure most of you also did. But one thing really stuck to me, because when he said it, it probably didn't make that much sense. But now that I'm here, I'm trying to convey the same sense of what it means to me. He said he has won more than 50% of the points only in his life, meaning he has lost more than 50% of his points. And he says that you need to take your losses as they are. It is just a point. You have to move on from the next point. So this is a constant battle every founder faces. From what you're trying to do to where you want to get to, it's an ever-changing scenario. It is most of it that you can't control. In an uncontrollable environment, you're trying to build something, you're trying to connect to the customers, you're trying to build a model, you're trying to get your unit economics right, you're trying to get a good product market fit, you're trying to engage more with your customers, you want to increase your presence, you want to penetrate deeper into the markets. So all these plans that any founder would have when they want to grow their business, the needs are constantly changing, and it is up to the founder to ensure that the company is able to service those needs in order to get the oxygen it gets. One more learning that I would like to tell is, don't build it for fundraisers. Build a strong unit economics model. While it is a great thing to value something on paper and then take it to a great scale, a lot of changes are there in the market that can drastically hinder with your business. So at every point of time, I really feel that people should constantly be on the lookout of understanding what really is happening. So I will get a little bit more deeper into how it all started. We started with one store, and it was not easy. Like, we are currently present in 3 countries. We're there in the United States of America, we're there in Dubai, we're there in India. We have over 100 outlets. So it's of great honor that we were able to build a brand that survived past multiple cycles in the market. We survived pandemic. We were more resilient post-pandemic because there was a lot of loss in the supply chain network across the world. So if I really have to put on my learning once again, it would be to stay consistent in your efforts. There will be a lot of things that you will have to keep choosing. So after the first outlet open, we were at the right time, and timing is extremely important to do well in any business or to succeed, because while it can be attributed to luck, timing is a better word for it, because you may have a great idea which probably the market is not ready for right now, or you may be a little too later into the market. So timing is very important. So we were fortunate enough to have the idea of starting a milkshake brand in 2013 when the QSR industry was picking up. So the timing was fortunately very right. And once we understood that people were liking our products, we always wanted to build a franchising model, and we were looking up to the giants like McDonald's, Starbucks, Domino's, Subway, how these brands used to scale and still maintain the same set of consistency, customer experience that they offer across every location, including their huge, wide, vast networks of tens of thousands of restaurants across hundreds of countries. So this was always fascinating for us. So we always wanted to build ThickShake Factory as a franchisable model. And we understood that at the key, making a business franchisable means making it as easy as possible for someone new to business to get as a handheld thing that they can deploy into the market. That's their risk reduction when they're choosing a franchisee. So understanding this need, we built the building blocks of the franchisee model. We started scaling up our ice cream production facility. We started getting a lot of inquiries for franchisees, and we started we started finalizing good locations. We started upgrading the brand. We started with more offerings. So all these things have happened, and we've had doubling and doubling and doubling of our outlets until the pandemic hit. And it is a fantastic story. I'm very happy to be standing here sharing this with you. And post-pandemic, again, we have to understand that it is a change in the business cycle. Just because things were moving at a pace does not mean that they will move forever. It was a very hard learning that we had, and it was a humbling experience, but it has grown us more resilient. And I'm here telling you that that is the major shift in a mindset that I would say it's a learnable skill. If anyone wants to do something despite things changing around them, that is what gets people towards achieving what they want. So while we were scaling up, we also wanted to, kind of raise funding. So, we went into what a typical venture capitalist would want to look at before raising the funds. So at that point of time, we got some metrics about the kind of own store sales that we needed to have. And while we have built a franchising model, which is very valued across the globe, the Indian market at that point of time was not ready to fund franchising companies because you don't own your stores, which is a fair point because companies are valued based on the revenues that they make, based on the profits that they make, based on the stability that they've shown to how they've been able to manage the market conditions and how they're able to grow. So learning all this it's also a task. I mean, from where we started, from literally a 70 square feet store to the kind of things that we were able to do, it's a great curve that I was very lucky to experience at a very early age. And I think that that's the reason why I'm at least able to tell my thoughts. It's obviously one man's opinion, but I would say that if you really have to put down your goals forward and keep trying madly to achieve them, you need to be extremely ambitious. You need to be hungry. You need to dream. If you're not dreaming, you will never get it. And if you don't dream and if you don't say it out, you'll not get it again. So you'll have to keep working for things in life that way. And we also kind of came across multiple questions like, your product is successful here, will it work in more locations? So that was the second problem that we had to solve. We expanded to 3 locations by the end of second year. And by the third year, we were still trying to figure out what to do. By the end of third year, we had 10 stores. By the fourth year, we had 25 stores. By the fifth year, we had 50 stores. By the sixth year, we had 100 stores. All the while, we had conversations about what it would be to unlock the actual brand value, and that's what we were trying to do. But at every point of time, we never had answers to any of the questions that were coming across. So it was only with our constant effort to address the questions that were coming in front of us, or rather we were putting for ourselves, in order to take our business to the next level. That is what I think really gets you forward. So we had to even test waters with multiple cities, because you're successful in Hyderabad, that's great. But what if people from Bangalore think differently? What if people from Chennai think differently? What if tier 2 is completely different? What is tier 3 completely different? Like, nobody knows about these things. Sure, there are digital marketing activities, there's a lot of data analytics that can be done, but I was just coming across an article that I was reading. Most of the targeted audience on social media have less than 10% of the buying power, but 90% of the consumption. So the engagement that fills the algorithm is not exactly, you're spending money on something that you'll probably not get a good ROI out of. So these are all the learnings that we've had, and we were quite honestly battling with all these things at the same time, trying to very much excited to take it into the new frontiers. And to put it all within spirit, I would say you need to keep driving yourself, because especially I think there are a lot of solo founders out there who are single entrepreneurs and singlepreneurs or whatever you're calling them for it. But it is even more tougher. I was lucky to have a co-founder, but and even more luckier that he's my brother. But how else would somebody go through all these things and still manage to have a life, right? You need to have a balance across everything. So I would say again, one of the most important thing that people need to have into their framework is a very good support system. You need to have people who believe in you. And if you have people believing in you, you can achieve great things, because it is out of your comfort zone. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're doing, that's hard work. Like, just to give you a comparison, two people join the gym and 3 months later only one of them continues going. And the person who transforms is the one who went for 3 months, not the one who dropped out. I'm obviously not, I'm the one who dropped out. But at the same time, the point that I'm trying to make it, people who are consistent will get results. So I don't want to get too specific into what we have done, but we have also, post-pandemic, we have understood that the market was moving more towards cloud kitchens and online aggregation. So we also built a lot of brands that went online, which were physically not present but had only online presence. So that itself was a great learning in that whole journey as well. And then post 23, 24, we started our outlets in Dubai, and just this last month we started our outlet in United States. And these are very proud moments for us, because a product that is so Western, that we brought it here, we tried to make it work with the Hyderabad audience and then tried to convince the entire Indian audience, and then we are going back to the Western countries and trying to sell the same and getting very good response. I think it's a great testament to the fact that if there is a good product market fit, it can just expand. And you as a founder need to want to do it. So I also want to put in one more thing. My father has been an entrepreneur in his life. You should be prepared to undertake what it takes, because you are not prepared for any of these things. Yeah, if someone says you should be prepared to take a loss, you don't know what that loss is. It's not just financial. You have no idea the pain you may go through if you have to let someone go. You have no idea of the pain that you'll have to I know a lot of founders who have shut shop in the last few years, and I know the kind of turmoil that they go through. Life is not the same again after you take a loss. You're not the same person after you take a loss. But if you're not looking to build yourself up back, then where else will the business go? You're the center of the business. So I would like to summarize with these learnings that you will always have to be extremely honest with yourself. You will have to pick yourself up. You'll have to stay consistent. You'll have to keep running at it. Because winners are just people who have never stopped running. Thank you.